Yesterday we multiplied powers, and I kept saying to you, keep the base and add your exponents. So yesterday when we multiplied, we kept the base and we added the exponents. Stop clicking your watch. So today we're going to divide. Division is the opposite of multiplication. So when we divide, we're going to keep the base, and guess what we're going to do? Subtract your exponents. So the rule today is called the quotient of powers. The quotient of powers. And quotient means to divide. So it says to divide powers with the same base, subtract their exponents. And I'm going to repeat out loud just like I did yesterday over and over. Keep the base and subtract your exponents. Oops. Now today is a certain way. We have to go the top exponent minus the bottom. Yesterday when we were adding, when you add, it doesn't matter the order, but when you subtract, the order does matter. So it is crucial that you take the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. Yesterday I kept pointing out to you guys, remember, the dots between numbers mean multiplication, or when a number is next to a set of parentheses, it means multiplication. Well, in this problem, what indicates division? The fraction bar. This is a division bar, or in other words, a fraction. So it tells you you're dividing. So we keep the base. What's the base? 5. We take our top exponent, which is, and we subtract 4 for a final answer of 5 to the third power. I don't want to know what 5 to the third is. I just want to study the quotient of powers. Keep the base. That's the most important thing. Okay, so we go here. 4 to the 8th divided by 4 squared. I know we're dividing because there's a fraction bar. So I keep the base. What's the base? I take the top exponent, 8 minus 2, for a final answer of 4 to the 6th power. It doesn't change just because you now have a variable base. We're dividing. We know that because of the fraction bar. Keep your base of n, your top exponent, minus your final answer, n to the 5th power. And then we look at this one and we instantly panic. Woo! It's like yesterday when you had multiple letters. We have to regroup all. We had grouped A's together, B's together, C's together. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to group all our bases, but we're going to leave them in a fraction format. So I'm going to write 2 to the 5th divided by 2 squared. Base 2 has its own fraction. 3 to the 5th divided by 3 to the 4th. Base 3 has its own fraction. 5 squared divided by 5 to the 1st. Very good. Base 5 has its own fraction. What's the first base I have there? 2. And the top exponent? Minus. Good. Go to the middle fraction. What's your base? What's your top exponent? Minus 4. What's your last base? Top exponent? Minus. All right. So here we go. Now we got to subtract our final answer. 2 to the 3rd, 3 to the 1st, 5 to the 1st. Now notice I put those dots in between there. Okay, just for organization to keep them separated. Now yesterday we talked, a dot really means multiply. And yesterday Ms. Hoff taught us if we multiply, we should add the exponents. So should I add 3 plus 1 plus 5? They have different bases. We cannot do anything else here. If these all had the same base number, should we add them? Absolutely. We don't have the same base number though. So that's as far as we can go. Go right below that. What's different about this problem? Now we have those coefficients. Just like yesterday, we grouped our coefficients together, we grouped our letters together. With division, the rules don't change. We group our coefficients, in other words, they have their own fraction. Then our W's have their own fraction. Now, yesterday, when I put my coefficients out front, what did I do with them? I actually multiplied them. So guess what we're going to do today? You're actually going to divide them. They don't have an exponent, so they're just a standard number. What is 12 divided by 2? 6. Now we're dealing, W's have exponents. Keep your base. What's your base? W, your top exponent, minus 1. Final answer, 6W to the 4th power. All right, do the next 5, then I'm going to check in. Don't do the bottom one. Do the last 5 that are on there. Don't do the bottom one.
Do you have to put the dots on the multiplication side?
I would, just to keep them separated so that you don't like get your exponent with the wrong number. You know what I mean? Just to have a little bit of space in there. If you had them spaced out, I wouldn't count it wrong, no. Just don't put like a plus sign in there. All right, Taya, I know I left you guys out before, so I'm going to start with you today, okay? Taking this one. I know I'm dividing because there's a fraction bar. What's the base I'm keeping? And what's my top exponent? Minus, for a final answer of? Excellent job. Technically, does she have to have the 1 on the 3? Well, if I just wrote 3 as my answer, am I okay? Yes. I think most of you will get in the habit of putting that 1 there, because when you subtract, you get 1 anyway. All right, Allison, you get the next one. I'm dividing because there's a fraction bar. What's my base I'm keeping? X. What am I subtracting? And my final answer? X to the 7th power. Work. All right, we're skipping down here. I'm going to help out here to speed my process. The first thing you should have done is separate each one of these into their own separate fraction. Okay, each base into the own separate fraction. Sienna, what is the first base on this first fraction? 3. And what exponents would I subtract? Awesome job. Gavin, what's the base on the middle fraction there?
5,
And what exponents would I subtract?
2, and 8.
Excellent job. JC, what is your base on your last one?
7.
And what are you going to subtract? 5 minus 3. Haley, that leaves you to be the subtraction person. Your final answer should be 3 to the second times 5 to the times 7 to the. Agree or disagree with her? Agree. Should we add those all together? 2 plus 1 plus 2? No, they don't have the same base. Nice job, you front row. And Haley. I was going to say front couple of rows, but then it was only one. Front row and Haley. Okay, go to the next one. I'm going to do the same thing. 5 to the 6th, 5 to the 4th, 7 to the 4th, 7 squared, 8 cubed, 8 squared. Miss Talina, what is my first base? 5, and what am I going to subtract? 6 minus 4, good work. Isaiah, what's my next base?
7,
What am I subtracting?
4 minus 2.
4 minus 2. Paxton, what's my last base? What am I subtracting? 3 minus 2. That leaves Hudson, not the Hudson from football, to give us our final answer. 5 to the
Second.
times 7 to the
Second.
times 8 to the. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Nicely done, you guys. And Miss Hoff rewrites this. Peter, what's my first base? -2. What am I subtracting? 5 and 2. Thad, what's my next base? What am I subtracting? Nice job with that. It's not written there, but it is understood. Lane, what's my next base? 5, and what am I subtracting? Minus. Very good. Nevaeh, that leaves you to subtract my final answer. -2 to the 3rd times 3 to the 3rd times 5 to the. She had to have made a mistake. They're all 3s?
No.
They are all 3s. Hey, how many of you remembered parentheses? Good work. Good work. If you didn't, it's wrong. You have a negative base. Look at the problem that started. They're on there when they started, right? Don't lose them partway through. Okay? Biggest piece today, you're separating them off and you're subtracting. Although subtraction is Miss Hoff's worst subject. All right, last one. I'm terrible at subtraction. Horrible. The table shows the number of people worldwide that speak certain languages. How many times as many people speak French than Sicilian? Okay? When I look at this, how many times as many people speak French than Sicilian? People speak more French or Sicilian? How do you know? Yeah, 2 to the 6th. The 6 is larger, so 2 to the 6th is going to be a bigger number than 2 to the 2nd. So I need to take French and divide out the Sicilian. How many people speak French? 2 to the 6th power. And I'm going to divide out Sicilian. How many people speak Sicilian? 2 to the 2nd. I know I'm dividing because of the fraction bar. What's my base? 2. Top exponent, -2. Final answer, 2 to the 4th power. Now listen closely what I'm going to ask you. What is 2 to the 4th power? 16. Thank you for not saying 8. 16. So that tells you in the world there are 16 times as many people speaking French as Sicilian. Nope, you could just go 2 to the 4th. I asked you that because I just wanted to make sure you weren't going to go 2 times 4 is 8 to remember what it means. Question? Mm-hmm.
One that BG, since you asked us for the other two, if we want to add all those, so do we add that? We add those or no?
When do you add them? When do you add exponents? When your bases are the same and you're multiplying. Are your bases the same? Nope, so don't add them. Okay, I'm going to hand out your worksheet in just a second. I want to cover one thing beforehand. Just like yesterday, I'm going to walk around and start as you go. If you get them all done, you can turn it in so you don't have to worry about it. When you get done, there's 2 options you have. You can either go work on your history instead of your vocab, because I know you have a vocab test tomorrow, or you can work on the decoder breakout that I put on my lesson plans. Those are your 2 options. On your homework assignment on the back, you're going to get to ones with that blank for the exponent. Remember, you're choosing the exponent that would make that a true statement. I already gave you the answer, right? So you have to determine what would have had to have been there to create 3 to the 4th. Cool? Question, Thad. There's not. 8, 9, and 10, you're not going to have any work. Okay? All right. I will get you your worksheet here.